This is John Lee with St. Louis Real Estate Investors Association, and we're here with Kathy Davis and the attorneys with Davis and Travaglini LLC. And today we're doing a weekly update. Today is April 17th, 2020. So thank you for being here. And if it's okay, we're going to record this session so we can have a replay.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's still some coming in. Welcome. Come on in. I'll just let them in as they come.
Okay. So since last week, it's kind of everything has changed and everything has remained the same. I think everybody knows that Sam Page and Lyda Cruson have both extended the social distancing orders for the city and the county of St. Louis. I was on a conference call with the presiding judge of the city yesterday, Rex Burleson, and it was a good call. They were talking about a lot of things. I mean, everybody wants to get the courts back and functioning again. For those of you who may have these needs, there are still some things that they will do, like adult abuse orders and that kind of thing. They're continuing to, I think, arraign incarcerated prisoners via video cam from the jail. They have let a lot of those people out that they consider to be lesser criminals, but so keep your car doors locked. And we've talked with the judges a little bit about the unlawful detainer kind of situation where we have a tenant who's really gone bonkers and we really need to have an immediate hearing. And we're pretty confident that we can work those out. I just saw the question pop up about St. Charles County, and I'm going to let Chris talk to you a little bit about that in a minute, but I will tell you this. I'm on a Missouri Supreme Court committee with Steve Ellman, who is the county executive in St. Charles, and they were the last ones, of our local metro area, I think, to adopt social distancing guidelines. We were just talking about how we anticipate that Jefferson and St. Charles will open back up sooner than the city and the county, but we don't really know until those announcements are made. We think our judge in St. Charles is very intrepid, and he will be willing to have court whenever. I'll let Chris talk about that some more. There was also some talk with various judges about remote appearances. This might involve more when it's just two lawyers on a case, but it's also possible that if we file an eviction for you and a trial gets asked for and we're going to try it, that you could appear remotely. We already know, even prior to this crisis, that if you had a disability or something that would prevent you from coming to court, there was a way to let you appear remotely to testify for a trial. The Supreme Court has authorized remote swearing in of witnesses. My suggestion is, that you make sure that you're prepared for those capabilities if you think you might need to appear in court. I think if you can do Zoom, we could probably get you in there talking to the judge, even if it's just on my phone. But be thinking about that. We're thinking about setting up a video area here, where there won't be like somebody's messy files in the background, where we can, like our host here has a very nice, with a painting in the background and a nice sofa and everything. We're thinking about setting up something like that, but start thinking about that if you think you're going to need to go to court. We also would recommend that you try to get masks and gloves if you can. I've ordered some on Amazon where the delivery date is in June. We have some here, but we might need them before then, but we'll need more by then. So get on Amazon or get with your shopper or, whatever, and see if you can start getting those things. And I would get wipes too, so that when you start having to go out or you start having to go to court, or meet sheriffs for evictions or that kind of thing, that you can protect yourself. They have also talked about, in both the city and the county courthouses, that the deputies letting people in through security are already, I think, and are going to be doing it even when the courts reopen, taking temperatures, asking questions about whether you've traveled outside the country recently, that kind of thing. And, frankly, I would not want to go to court and I would not want Chris and Christine to go to court without being protected. So when court reopens, be prepared for that. We tried to record something, e-record something on Wednesday, and we still have not gotten a response. We think the recorder's offices are still open and still processing, but they're probably working on a skeleton crew kind of situation. So if you have transactions or you want to deed something or record something, you can e-record it. We can help you with that if you need help, but be prepared for it to be a waiting time. I did another bar conference, I think it was yesterday, about real estate transactions and how they're doing that. And apparently the title companies are doing like drive-by closings where you sit in your car and they bring everything and then they go back in and we check it and then, you know, and you close that way. The governor of Missouri did issue an order for remote notary. And my husband has remote notaried something this way for somebody else that lives in our building. It was very interesting too. It involves soccer, but they did it where the person and the other lawyer stayed in that other lawyer's apartment, and they FaceTimed my husband, and he saw her notarize. She showed her ID, and then the document was dropped off at our place. He notarized it, and then he put it back out for them to pick it up. So we think we can sort of work our way through authorizations if that's something that you need. I'm going to hand the phone now to, oh, I have one more thing, I guess, that I did read a forecast, one of those forecasting letters that you get, where they agree that there's going to be increased demand for rental housing when this is over. So I think that knowing that, if you can make it through the next couple of months, upgrade your screening if you can. And if there's going to be increased demand and you have choices for your tenants, you want to get the best tenant. Definitely check on CaseNet. I had someone call me yesterday who had rented to someone and they were on CaseNet 3 times in the being evicted. I mean, that's just not necessary. CaseNet is free. It's easy to look at. Search their names before you rent to them. Get the best tenant. And I think there's a big concern among, you know, real estate professionals about appraisals and values. So you might be thinking, and this would be smart to think about refinancing loans now with where rates are so low, but think about whether your appraised value is going to be affected. Okay, so I'm going to hand the phone to Christine for any updates she has. Okay, Christine doesn't have any updates.
I wish I did.
So we're going to go to Chris because he's talked to a couple of judges in the last little while and he might know some more things.
Hey guys, so not a whole lot to add. I did talk to a judge this in St. Louis County who kind of said that they don't know a whole lot more than anything new. They're kind of, you know, especially with our bulk dockets, they're kind of just, I don't know if they're just hoping that some miracle cure happens. I haven't really figured anything out yet. They know that if things stay the way they are, once they reopen, they're going to be backed up for a while. They do think they're going to prioritize landlord cases, but they acknowledge things are just probably for the rest of the year just going to be kind of screwy. So just be ready for it. You know, when you file a case, it's no longer going to be getting them in and out in a month. It's going to be months, at least for a while, we think. For St. Charles, to answer the St. Charles question, I did see something in the newspaper that the St. Charles County Executive had kind of mirrored the indefinite nature of city and the county, and that, you know, everyone's going to kind of reevaluate mid-May for the stay-at-home orders. So, you know, we'll see how that goes. I know the St. Charles County Sheriff isn't putting people out until I think this weekend, but I anticipate that order getting extended. Yeah. So, I mean, that's nothing really new on St. Charles County, though I would anticipate that they might open up before the county or city. And I think Jefferson will probably be the first one in the area that opens up, just guessing based upon political leanings and density, you know, how things are going to go. You know, going back to what the judge said this morning, non-emergency trials are going to be pushed back, trying to prioritize cases like ours. So hopefully there's some sort of priority, but I think think Kathy told me in a meeting with the city judge, they just really haven't figured anything out yet how they're going to handle us both dockets, because frankly, I don't even know how I would do it. So it's it's going to be a challenge, at least. So that's all I have.
Okay.
Well, I know how I would do it, and I'm trying to get them to listen to me. So, and apparently, we have a few more weeks before the courts are really going to generally reopen. So we have some time to make sure that I can keep Chris and Christine safe and keep you guys safe if you have to come to court with us or go on your own, and that kind of thing. So we're hoping for the best and preparing for the worst.
I think I did also want to say that I am hearing that people are actually renting new apartments now. I've got clients who are putting.
Yeah, Chris and Christine both, I think, have clients who are renting to new tenants. So I got a question yesterday. The lease was up. The person wanted to stay month to month. The landlord's usual policy with it was that's okay, but the rent's going to be a little higher. And the tenant tried to tell him that was illegal. Now it's not. You can do that.
Okay.
If the lease is up and you want to change terms, you can do that.
Okay.
Okay. So do we have questions?
Anybody have any other questions? I think Laura wanted to know about the extension dates.
I think we've been told just mid-May. I don't think there's a date that was nailed down.
Okay, yeah. So it actually sounds like communication is still your best. It's best to stay in touch with your tenants the best you can.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think what we're trying to do here, if we can, is if the client can get in touch with us, if we have a pending eviction for you, the one thing that we can do, I think, to help you now is to see if we can negotiate a consent judgment with the tenant and get that on file or have it ready to be filed, so that when things start up again, we're already past the point of needing a court date, needing a judge. If they default on their agreement with you, we can file the consent judgment and file the STLREIA, and hopefully not have to stand in the back of a long line of people waiting for those.
Right. Okay. Okay. And Dwayne wanted to know about the enforcement of the stay inside order. He sees a lot of people out. Yeah, I think it's kind of hard to know if it's really an essential job or not, though. In a lot of cases, I don't know. What's your thoughts on that?
Did I already say this joke that they exempted lawyers in the county, and we think are these orders? You can go online and look at them. The county one I know the county one from Sam Page had a long list of exempt occupations.
Okay.
There are more people. There are all. I went to Deerberg's on Tuesday, which is terrifying for me. I hate going to the grocery store anyway. And when I got there, it was fine. But when I left after doing a large amount of shopping, like an hour later, there was a long line of people waiting to go to Deerberg's. So maybe all these people that you see out are really just getting food or going to exempt jobs. I don't know. I don't think the police are that interested in, pulling individual cars. I know that early on they got Barnes and Noble and one of those craft stores like Michael's in trouble. They got special letters.
Michael's
and Joann's that
weren't essential business.
Yeah, they might be considered more essential now, like Joann's, because they sell fabric if people are making masks.
I think
Yeah.
that's what they were trying to do, but that wasn't flying.
So it's a really interesting topic. Lawyers are talking about it a lot. I basically believe that the government has police powers to act restricting your otherwise inviolable rights. So I can see Dwayne is asking, laying asphalt. The construction trades are exempted. Construction trades are exempted.
Right.
So
Now's the time to do it.
yeah.
No customers working.
We have Charter working on getting our internet upgraded to fiber right now. If you hear drilling noise in the background, that's them in my office.
Yeah.
And the big building behind where I live at 100 North Kings Highway, the giant 36-story building, those people are going to work every day. And I've got tuck pointers in my building, which is really annoying and loud at 7 in the morning. So, but the construction trades are exempted, at least for now.
Yeah, I have a rental property that has a problem with the roof, and the insurance adjuster will be out there on Wednesday, and the roofer's already been out there to give me an estimate. So they're doing things a little bit more cautiously, but they're out working.
Yeah, I had a client who had an inspection for a residential transaction, and the inspector came and had mask and gloves and, did their thing. So
What municipality was that? If you don't mind
that
sharing?
was in the city of St. Louis.
City, okay.
And it was not an occupancy inspection. It was a sale transaction inspection.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
The buyer's inspection. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, well, good. That's good.
And I think last week when we were signing off, I may have seen a question flying across about Section 8.
Yes.
And I'm going to hand the phone to Christine.
Okay. Thank you.
She says, don't do that.
I don't know what you're talking
Section 8 right now.
about. No, I thought we discussed that last week, and no, you can't. If you have any kind of properties that are, have any kind of subsidy, Section 8, any kind of tax credits or anything like that, there is a 120-day moratorium, which started March 27th.
Okay.
March 27th. So that means that you cannot evict them for non-payment of rent. You can evict for other reasons, but you cannot evict for non-payment of rent until the 120-day period ends, which is July 25th. But then before you can file for the eviction, you're required to give a 30-day written notice to the tenant that they have 30 days to either pay everything they owe or you'll proceed with the eviction. So the earliest you could evict a Section 8 or any other kind of subsidy type tenant would be August 25th is the earliest date you could file.
July.
Nope.
August 24th.
You are required to give a 30-day notice after
Oh, yeah.
July 25th. So
You can start.
the earliest you could file is August 25th
Ooh,
on that.
okay.
And that is also true. There's also that, again, that we talked about this last week, that 120-day moratorium is also for any properties that have a federally backed loan.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, we recently went through the payroll protection loan process, and we got approved and we got funded. And I've been on a couple of seminars about that because I want to make sure that our spend is qualifying for loan forgiveness. So I know a little bit about this if anybody has any PPP program questions.
Oh, good.
Yes?
Yes. Okay. Do you have a specific question?
Okay, I saw what bank. We went through our bank for my law firm, Lindell Bank. They were very helpful. They told me that they were not really helping non-customers now because of the volume. We understand that the money has run out, although loans in the pipeline still might be funded, or loans that have been approved still might be funded. But everybody anticipates that there's going to be another 250 billion coming down soon. They made funds available to 1099 people, freelancers and everything. Earlier this week or last week, and another lawyer who's in our building here, he got funded for his PPP loan based on, being an independent contractor. We have, if you have a line of credit or even a credit card with a bank, we would suggest that you go through them. And credit unions can do this too. So if you have a relationship with a credit union, that might be easier to get like a live person who will help you.
Oh, excellent.
Any other questions on that? 2 good Facebook groups.
Okay.
Somebody's suggesting Facebook groups that will help with that process.
Okay. Mhm.
Yeah. We had we learned that things that we weren't expecting might count as part of the 25% non-payroll spend, including things we hadn't thought about, like our internet service, our phone service, our copier lease. Copier lease is a small amount, but given that you only have 8 weeks from funding to spend your money for forgiveness, we're going to try to throw everything in the hopper that we can.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's good information there. Yeah. Okay. Anybody have any other questions on on that or anything else we talked about here? I think you've done a great job answering and keeping us up to date on everything, Kathy. I appreciate it.
Thank
Appreciate you taking the time.
Our phone number is 314-962-1115. Chris Bosler, who is most up to date about the city and the other counties, is extension 15. Christine, who handles pretty much exclusively St. Louis County, is extension 13. And I'm extension 11. We're kind of working in shifts a little bit, so we're not all here all the time, and we don't have a receptionist. But use those extension numbers and you should be able to get through to us. We're happy to talk to anybody individually that has a question.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kathy, Christine, and Chris. And will you be able to join us next week again?
Sure.
Okay, we really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And I'll put a replay on our website.
Stay safe, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks again.